friends, greetings from the Gandhi Center. We are once again with you, bringing yet another talk. This is from none other than the eminent scholar in Prakrit language, Professor Saloni Joshi. Professor Saloni Joshi teaches at the Gujarat University, Prakrit language. She is one of the few scholars working on the Prakrit language. She has delivered 2 talks from this platform, which are, the first one was Prakrit, the spoken language of India, and the second, Jewels of Prakrit Literature. You can still scroll on our social media and look for her previous talks. Today, she's going to give yet another talk, Treasures of Tales, Prakrit language. I welcome Saloni Joshi, Professor Saloni Joshi, to make her talk. Welcome, Saloni Joshi.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma. Namaste to all. Today we will talk about Prakrit narrative literature and Prakrit tales. The narrative literature in Prakrit is wide in extent and varied in content and form. It includes the lives of the mythological personages in Jainism, short stories, fables, legendary and semi-historical accounts of Jain monks of eminence and powerful kings, and popular romance. This literature is veritable storehouse of folktales, fables, funny stories, and anecdotes. A large number of parables and legends occur in the Jain canon itself, and the number of tales in the commentaries on the canons in legend. Well, actually, the source of these all tales, firstly, we can see it in a Jain canon. What is Jain canon? The preaching of Lord Mahavir is Jain canon. And he gave his preachings at that time, the spoken language of India, that was Ardhamagadi Prakrit.
Yeah.
And he was preaching. He is narrating tales, examples, similes, so that common people can understand it easily. The eminent purpose of this kind of tales is to uplift social and moral character of common people, upliftment of common people. So, the 6th canon, Naya Tumma Kahao, is very important from the point of view of tales. It contains 19 tales, and each and every tale is a different. It includes long stories, short stories, small example, small similes, and so on. Even it gives the life sketch of Tirthankar Malli, a story of Draupadi, previous birth of Draupadi from Mahabharata is also in this.
One of the stories, fables, yeah.
Yes, yes. And the striking feature of this work is they narrate the stories in pairs, like story of 2 turtles, story of 2 friends, story of 2 merchants, and
always 2.
Yes, one is on right path, the other is not, and then the people has to decide whom to follow. And
yes,
that is the most important thing. Well, let me tell you one small story, one folk tale, how they converted it in a religious tale, Dharma Katha. Well, it's a story of Rohini. It's a story of one merchant and his 4 daughters-in-law. There was one merchant named Dhanya. He was very rich and prosperous. So one day, he thought that if I am not here, who will take care of my family? So he decided to test his daughters-in-law. He arranged a grand feast because he
Okay.
want to take decision and from the for the
Who's the wisest of all?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So he invited all family, relatives, friends of family, everybody. After the meal, he called 4 daughters-in-law and
Yeah.
gave them unhusked rice,
Okay.
5 grains, and in presence of all, he told them that take this from me, keep it carefully, and when I will ask you to give me back, you should give me. That's all. First daughter, she thought he is a rich person and giving
Just
us
give me.
fine 4 uh, uh, 5 grades. We accept that he will give us some jewelry, diamonds, gold, but this poor miserable 5 grades, she didn't like it, so she threw it up and busy. Then the other lady, she thought, other daughters-in-law, she thought what to do with these grains. She cleaned it and ate up it. Third daughter-in-law, she was very clever. She thought there must be some purpose. So she take it carefully, kept it in a clean cloth and put it in a box and taking care of that box every day. The last one, youngest, Rohini, she was the cleverest. She thought there must be some purpose. So she called her servants and instructed them to shun that in the field and take care of the crop. Every year, she repeated that, and after 5 years, there was a plenty of grains.
Yeah, multiplied. It multiplied.
Yes. After 5 years, that Dhanya decided to check their daughters-in-law, what they have done with that grains. So again, he arranged a grand feast, invited all those people again. And in the presence of gathering, he called first daughter-in-law and asked, where are that grains? Give me back. She went to the storeroom. She took grains and gave. He asked whether is it same which I gave it to you?
She said
no.
yes.
She honestly said no, it is not same. I threw up that same day. Okay, then what happened? He was very angry, very furious. He assigned her all menial works, cleaning house, sweeping, and
all that, all the menial work. Yes.
Yes. Then second daughter-in-law, she said, yes, I ate it up. So he didn't like that. He assigned her to all kitchen work, all serving me,
cooking
everything.
and washing the utensils and all that.
Yes. Cooking and everything. Then the third daughter-in-law, she gave that box, present that box, and opened the note of the cloth and gave. Then he asked, is it the same grains which was given before 5 years? She said, yes, sir. I kept it carefully and safely. So he was happy. And he assigned her the work of treasurer. All the treasure of the house, family, all the jewelry, gold, silver, diamond, and all the things is
storage work, so that she keeps everything safe.
So, and when the turn came of the last youngest daughter-in-law, Rohini, she humbly said, I can't give you the same 5 grains, but I can return you plenty of. Please arrange for some cards so that I can return you that 5 grains. So he asked, how can it is possible? She said, yes, I gave that those grains to my servants, and then he saw it in a field and again repeated this process. So now plenty of grains of rice
out of those little grains. We have
Yes.
field of grains.
So he was pleased, very much happy, and he assigned her a duty to take complete care of the family. She is the mistress of the family, and all the powers of the house was with her. So this is a simple folk tale. But now the remaining part, which is added, is a preaching. These 5 grains are not mere grains. It is a 5 great vows of Jainism.
Okay.
So some monks who are taking these vows and threw it up are criticized. Some are monks who are taking it and carefully taking care of that. And some, they are not taking care, but they propagate also. So these,
not only take care but propagate it also. Yes.
So this is the religious part which was added, and this is the canon. So many stories are like that. So the other sutra is Uttaraden Sutra, and in this sutra there are so many stories like that. There is a 36 chapters, and there are legends. There are very good dialogues are there. Famous dialogues are in there. Yes. The episode of Nemi and Rajimati is there. Nami and Indra is there. And there are small tales also. One is very good tale. That is a tale of 3 merchants. They went out to earn money. They went out. And one merchant came with a profit. The other came with a capital, and the third loses his capital. So story is very long, but the moral,
to cut the story short,
yes, that the capital which was given for trading, so that capital is a human life. If someone coming back with the profit, then that is hell, that is a heaven. Someone is coming only with the capital, that is human life. But with the loss, that is hell and animal life. So one story of ram, that one ram was brought up and fed well. So one calf of cow, she always complaining that our family masters, they are giving them very good food and we only grass. Why? Then that cow told her that when the guest of this family will come, he will be cut.
The ram will be cut, and
out to the guest. So that ram is a sinner, ignorant sinner, right? So these kind of small tales, and it gives important preach, right? So now come to there are commentaries on this Agam, and 5 types of commentary are there. That is Niryukti, Bhashya, Churni, Tika, and Balavod. And these Balavod are particularly in a vernacular language. We can see Old Gujarati, so many Balavod. That is a commentary in vernacular language. So in that story, that commentary literature, also so many texts. And in some commentaries in Sanskrit, the philosophical part of that commentary is in Sanskrit. But when they are giving examples, so they narrate it in a Prakrit language. So in the Uttaraden Sukhabodha Tika is famous for that. And so many Prakrit tales are there in Uttaraden Sukhabodha Tika by Devendra Gani. And I would like to narrate one small story from them also. That is of the Kanaka Manjari, a painter's daughter. There was a king, Jitasatru, in Kshiti Pratishthit Nagari. And once he decided to make an art gallery, painting gallery in his city. He invited all the painters of the city, and assigned them work, but he gave work all the same quantity. So one poor old painter was also there. He was also there to paint the walls, but he was old and without any support. So alone he was doing, and other painters had completed that work, so they gone. The daughter of this old painter was going there to give him a lunch. One day when she went there, the painter was not there. So she took a brush of his father and paint a peacock feather there.
On the floor?
Yes. And at that time, the king came to watch the painting gallery in a civil dress. He was not in a king's dress. So
yeah, the attire, the royal attire, not
yes,
in the
no.
royal.
So she thought maybe a common man. So king saw, oh, it's a real feather. So he tried to take it. But
pick it up.
It was a painting and his all nails were broken. So she laughed on him and said that you are a foolish man. King didn't say anything. He thought that, okay.
It's a art, you see, the art of painting, which is called as chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro, wherein in the Chitra Sutra of Vishnu Dharmottar Purana, it is written that paint a picture so that it appears so realistic. Paint the rain so that you get drenched in it. Paint a drop of water so that it looks like the real water, and so many similes are given. This is the chiaroscuro style of painting, wherein you add shadow and light on the image so that it looks three-dimensional rather than flat. So this is a typical art, and it is available in Prakrit literature also. Right. So this has been very old, the chiaroscuro style of painting. Okay, then he painted the peacock feather, and the king tried to pick it up. Yes. Please go on.
Broken is all this. But king thought that I will teach a lesson to this lady, this girl. So he inquired, who is she? He came to know. Then he sent his minister with a proposal to marry with a king. His father
married the daughter.
Yes, her father was frightened, but finally he said okay. And she married the king. King has so many queens, and in starting he neglected her. Then one day he thought, let me see the cleverness of this girl. So he sent a message and told that I will come today at your place for a dinner, and I will stay there also. So she prepared herself and she instructed her
maid servant
that when king sleep, you ask me a question, that madam, tell me a story. She said, okay, I will. And king came, and then he pretended to sleep. He was not sleeping.
Pretending, he pretended.
What he's doing.
Right. So that he can hear the story, huh?
Yes. So she started to tell story, but when the interesting part of the story came, she stopped. She said, I feel sleepy. So rest of the story I will tell you tomorrow.
Okay. And so the story is continued every night.
King was very curious. King was very curious. So again, second day he came. Again, same process. Again, he came. So up to 6 months.
It's a continuation of the story, for several days.
6 months.
6 months. 6 months.
And she became his favorite queen, right?
Okay.
Yes, and other queens were jealous on her, but she was a very religious lady. Every day she was praying.
Put on
her old dress and telling her own self that I am not a queen. I am an old painter, poor old person's daughter, and I should not do any type of pride, right? So, and then that other queens cannot do anything, and again she became a favorite queen of the king. But here folk tale, but they added the part that she is not doing pride, right? That
She's not
she's
proud,
a
yeah. Yeah.
yes, yes. So this is the thing. So this is a famous story from Uttaradesh. Now come to the post-canonical literature. There are so many works on in Prakrit literature on Tirthankar's life stories, popular tales, Kathakosh,
Tell me,
collection.
tell me one thing. You see, Gujarat is very famous for uh, merchants and travelers offshore. You see, we have several stories that talk about travelers offshore going to Southeast Asia and several other countries. And as it is, you know, that Gujarat was very rich because of the merchant class. So, how did do you have? You mentioned in one of your previous lectures that you have a lot to do with the merchant class stories. So, how many roughly would be the merchant class? Because I came across some illustrations talking about Gujarat and the ships and all that, you know, visuals and all. So, roughly how much percentage of stories would be
more than 70% stories. There are episode of merchants. Yes, 70%.
Okay,
More than.
out of this treasure of stories, you mean to say that 70% of the stories are on merchant class travelers?
Not all. The episode of
70%.
Episode of the merchant are coming in these stories.
Okay, okay. We can
Yes.
assemble them and do some
Yes.
work, yes.
And from canonical literature, it is in canonical literature. In Naya Dhamma Kaha, there is a story of Makandi's sons. And it's a very good description of that sea journey, the traveling of the sea.
On the sea, wave, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, very good story.
Mm.
In commentary literature, in post-canonical literature, and in general literature. We can see.
You know, when I went to the Borobudur, Southeast Asia, when I went to the Borobudur, I was doing all levels of photography. I did, in fact, the complete Borobudur. One panel I came across on one floor that you see, you know, the style of working was very close to the Gujarati style, which was like the Rani Ki Vav works, you know. So that even evince that fact that sculptors also came from Gujarat. And there is a in the his history mentioned that a king went there, and then he ordered several number of artisans to come there, sculptors, carpenters, and people, you know, who could do the woodwork, they could do the stonework and all that. So we know that a lot of people travel to Gujarat. So I wanted to know, I was very curious to know whether in Prakrit literature do we find a mention of it?
Yes, and one can do PhD, so many PhD thesis on this topic also. Yes, plenty of material is in this channel.
Right.
Yes.
Right. They come close to the live, you know, live of Gujarat, very lively episodes.
And very, but one interesting thing is that I would like to mention that these tales, they are flowing, they are coming in next literature, like in vernacular languages, these tales are coming in a different forms, different language. I can tell you one thing, that in Madhyakalin Gujarati, that is the time of 1150 to 1850. It's a long period of a Madhyakalin Sahitya. And the 75% of that literature is from Jain texts, right? And it is interesting to say that there are several works, more than Tulibhadra Kosha is a very popular story. Neminath and Rajimati story is a very popular story, and we can see 373 works, krutis on this Nemi Rajimati. Maybe 10 words, maybe 1,000 words, but the topic is Nemi Rajimati. And
no, but do you think it translated many times, several times a story?
Translated.
Same story?
It was same story, not translated, reconstructed, recreated.
Okay, so there may be difference.
But the subject material is same. Neminath Rajimati. Tulibhadra Kosha, there are 79 works. And the masterpiece works of Madhyakalin Gujarati is based on this. And the other
Very
is
interesting.
Tulip Shalibhadra Danya, very popular tale of a donation.
Yeah, I read the Shalibhadra. It's very well illustrated in one of them.
Yes, illustrated also. And more than 40.
The Shripal Ras also.
Yes, that is another. 40 works, different works are on that Danya Shalibhadra. And Shripal Raja's Raj, the source of that story is in Prakrit. And one 12th century story that is of Rajan's Katha and Kunda Kathiara Katha, that is the source of Shripal Katha. Okay. Actually, there was a small story, but later on they add one more character. Then they
added characters.
One queen is from other religion, one queen is from Jain religion, and the conflict and so on. And they are adding in different vows or religious practices and so many things. So now
the stories and stories, right? And stories and stories also. Yeah.
Shripal Raja's Raz is a very, very popular. Still, even today it is popular. So
yeah, I know.
These tales are coming from the same source. They are just like a flow. They are just like a river flowing.
Oh, okay, legends are legends. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
And these stories are not in the same way. It is in a various form, such as dialogues, tales, parables, metaphors, illustrations, competitions, contests, witty conversations, riddles, pranks, questions and answers, reply and rejoinder, completing the part of stanza, eloquent speech and epigrams. And they make interesting all these narratives. It becomes fascinating. And the variety of characters, my God, it's a long list. And let me tell you, merchants traveling in far-off countries with a caravan, shipwrecked, robbers, thieves, gamblers, knaves, physicians.
All characters get in a story, yes.
Priests, astrologers, witch doctors, slave boys, maid servants brought from the other country, foreign countries, marriage customs, popular deities, common festivals, jailers, punishment, awarded criminals, yes, poverty-stricken people, mendicants, beggars, love-lorn men and women, prostitutes, bawards, and so forth. So
many of them, yes.
So many.
Yeah, what do you say about? Do we have Kalpa Sutra also? Kalpa Sutra and Kalkacharya Katha written into Prakrit?
Yes, it is in Prakrit, and very good paintings are there.
Illustrated, yes, very well illustrated. Yes,
very well.
Kalpa Sutra is very well illustrated. Even the Kalkacharya Katha is very well illustrated. And you see, you come across illustrations that are very blue in color initially. In red in color. And then when lapis, the blue pigment, came to Gujarat, came to India from Iran, roughly around the 14th century, they say scholars go even earlier. When lapis came into, it was very well identified in the Kalpa Sutra because the pictures begin to have blue colors. So you had a combination of blue and red, and then lots of blue coming in. So the pigment, you can date the illustrations according to the paintings.
Even in a gold ink and the silver ink is also, it is written by gold and silver ink.
Gold comes in. Yeah, gold, even the Kalpa Sutra has gold and silver in it. And it was the wealth, how wealthy was the patron. On the basis of the wealth of the patron, he added gold into the Kalpa Sutra manuscripts or silver. So it identified the richness of the patron in the paintings. Very interesting, amazing, yes. Yeah. And then you see, In the Kalkacharya Katha, you come across Turks also. The Turks who came to India, they fought with the
Yes.
Gadabil and all that, you know. So you find their costumes with long boots and that typical hat, conical hat, and putting bows and arrows at people. So then, and the characteristics of these earlier paintings in Gujarat were that they had a typical facial features with three-quarter profile, a further eye, double chin. So these were also, I found these paintings in Alchi in Ladakh. The similar characteristics, yeah, when I did my book on Alchi, I found them, I saw the similar characteristics of three-quarter profile, further eye, double chin. And the painters believed they came in from Kashmir and they went to the Islam began in India, the Islamic paintings, the Mughal paintings. So the painters, very good painters, joined the atelier in the Mughal court, but very poor painters, in the sense who were not very good at anatomy, were left out. They went to smaller places like Gujarat and other places and began to paint there. So that typical Kalpasutra painting has this upper brancher style. It was called the upper brancher style of painting. And these paintings identified, they look very interesting for the typical. And later on, as you know, the British period came in, how artists began to, we were doing always in miniature paintings also, we were doing very flat paintings. It was the elevation, side views. We could not do the front view with two eyes, and then gradually one of few painters began to do. And then the British period came in, Asit Kumar Halder and all that. And Raja Ravi Verma learned from them the three-dimensional art of painting. Till then we were flat. That's very interesting to see in this paintings of Prakrit studies. Yeah, please go on.
But actually this tales is, it's endless actually.
Yeah.
Endless tales. So
yes. And then we have so many manuscripts in Gujarati. We need scholars to work on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please
and
go on.
So many works. So, but I think.
Yeah. It was very interesting. And Professor Saloni Joshi, I'm very, very thankful to you. Thankful for one that you read the stories in Prakrit, in the manuscripts.
Yes.
But you were kind enough to take pains to translate them and bring it to us in English, not even Gujarati, and in English. I'm very, very thankful to you for this lecture. Thanks a lot. Wish you all the best. Namaste.
Namaste.